Hello all, Jamie Rogers here for Craftmania. As you may well already know, we are trying to give you a little bit of last minute inspiration throughout November for your Christmas cards. If you haven't yet made them, time's running out, isn't it? So we thought we'd better give you a few last minute ideas. So today this is actually the card we're going to be working on and playing around with, but do have a look throughout November as we'll be uploading lots of different cards and ideas. Pete's actually scanning over a few of these. Some of these may be coming up on videos. You may have already seen them depending on what times we upload them. And if not, it's just nice to see a few more ideas, isn't it? Now, all of the bits you're looking at on the cards that you're scanning over and the ones we're going to be demoing for you on these little videos are all available on our website. And to make it even better, most of them have also got a bit of a discount on them and a few special offers, and you can find all of the bits that we'll be talking about in our videos pretty much in a little section. So if you go onto our website, it has lots of little drop down boxes go across the top part, and if you click the one that says as seen on TV, I know we're not technically on TV, but we're trying to keep it easy for you and us, click on that and it'll drop down with all of the different months and programs that have been on Creating Craft for creative expressions over the last couple of years. But at the very top of it, you will see one that says November YouTube last minute Christmas ideas. And in there, you will find all of the products we're talking about. And as I say, most of them have got a bit of a cheeky discount on them. So do make sure you go on there and get your orders in. We'll talk more at the end of the video about how you can order and how your postage and all that lot works. But let's show you how to make this little card and hopefully give you a few ideas. So this is one of my favourites actually that I did on a show back in June, and I think it's just a really lovely one to play around with. It's got lots of different bits in here that we can talk about, but we're going to start off by actually talking to you about the background element here. Now this is really fun because we're going to bring in quite a few different Cosmic Shimmer pieces to create this. So I'm going to pop the card off to one side for a moment. I'm just going to grab myself a piece of paper. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to find a stencil. So I'm going to use one of our 6x6 star stencils, but obviously any stencil would work like this if you prefer. This is a stencil to give you an idea done with texture paste, so it's a really nice full-on starry effect if that's something you'd like to go for. But we're going to use it slightly differently. We're going to take a clear emboss pad. Now I'm using a Versamark one here, but it doesn't really matter what brand it is. It's just a clear ink that we're trying to use. And why we're doing this is we're going to stick our stencil onto a self-adhesive sheet in a moment. And if you're not careful, this one's not too bad because it isn't overly intricate piece. It's not really lacy, so it's not too bad. But if you've got really intricate stencils, sometimes when you come to lift them off, you might actually damage them if you haven't sort of lubricated them to begin with, because they'll stick to the self-adhesive sheet and they'll want to stay there, to be honest. The self-adhesive sheets are quite sticky. So this just helps. It'll mean it'll peel away a bit easier for you. So now we have that ready, we're going to bring in our self-adhesive sheet. Now these start off A4 if you've not seen them before. And the easiest way to describe these is they're a bit like double-sided tape, but they're in an A4 sheet. So what that means is we have a lid on one side that we can pull off. And I'm going to work on a piece of card for this. So I'm just going to take my sheet and we're going to pop it down roughly on the piece of card. Doesn't matter if it's exact for this, but we'll pop that down. Now I would normally work on a piece which is bigger than I need it to be. But it's up to you. And then we're going to take off our next level. So these have a lid on them, obviously, a bit like your double-sided tape as such. Obviously it sticks to itself on the roll, but this one is going to come off. And now we have a completely adhesive sheet. So we can do a lot with these. These are great for different techniques. We can put glitters and bits on them if we want to. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our stencil. So remember we've put our clear ink over one side of it. We're going to pop our stencil just on the top here and give that a good push down. Now never forget this is a good top tip. The piece you've taken off the top won't stick back onto the gluey surface. So if you're trying to place glitter or delicate die cuts, bits like that, just use this lid bit and go over it and give it a good push down. This won't stick and it will help you adhere in that, and you won't stick to it, which is really helpful. So we're going to pop that down on another piece of paper. And we are going to bring in our gilding flakes. Now I must confess, I think I forgot to bring my little sponge with me. It's okay, we can use a paintbrush, but we do actually do little sponges which are brilliant. You get 6 in a packet and they're great for working with gilding flakes and aurora flakes because they'll just brush them off and they won't get in the way. The colour I'm using for this is Harvest Moon. Again, we've got this on the website. You can see it's got lots of lovely colours in this one, lots of different shades. On the original card, I just used the golden jewel one, which is literally all gold, but I thought it might be nice to show you a different colourway. So as I say, the sponges are nice to use, but as you can see, you can do it with a paintbrush. If I don't have the sponges to hand, or I'm trying to do delicate work, sometimes I'll use a stipple brush with these. I find that can be quite handy, but if you can get hold of the sponges, as I say, they are on the website, you get 6 in a packet, they're a really good place to be. So what we're going to do is pop this through, and that's going to stick to all of the areas underneath our stencil with a bit of luck. So we'll take that away, brush off our excess, we'll pop them away as well, because we're going to make so much mess. I do like to get in a mess. Now you can pop them back in your jar, so I'll pop them down to one side, and I'll pop them away later to save you watching. And this bit will just throw on the floor, because it's my job to hoover later, it usually is. So if we make a bit of chaos, it doesn't matter too much. Pete is pulling faces at me from behind the camera with that. Do you really hoover? Look in his eyes. We're now going to pull off the stencil from the top here. Now, obviously, everywhere the stencil covered is still sticky. So you want to be careful at this point that you've got no stray bits of your flakes, because like here, we can sort of put them over and spread them, and we don't want to do that. We want to try and keep this as neat as we can keep it. So, but obviously where everything else is still sticky, it means we can add more onto this. So what I'm going to use is some Aqua Lagoon pixie powders. Now, pixie powders, traditionally, you tap these out onto a sheet, you spritz them with water, and they're going to sort of firework out for you. And I did actually, somewhere around here, I had a little board I was going to show you with them on, because I thought that might be nice to show you how they look. But I don't know where I've put it now. See, all best laid plans, we come into these things and we're like, oh, this board will help with that, and this board will help with that. Do you think I can find it? No idea. Well, if we come across it, I'll show you later. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pixie powders, and we're going to tap them over the top here. And again, we're not going to worry too much about where they land. We just want this to be quite random. So just tap them over. And we will be activating these with some water in a moment. But because we've got a good base covering with those, but obviously not enough to cover everything, we're going to bring in some glitter. So this is our Diamond Frost style of glitter. These actually come in 3 different colourways, believe it or not. They all look white in the tube, but they do actually react differently. And Diamond Frost looks really different if you put them on dark cards. So black card really gives a different sparkle. We're going to use the Frosty Dawn one. Now, actually, I'm not going to worry, but if you were going to put the glitter back in the tube afterwards, which you can do, just take your pixie powder paper away so that you don't get that everywhere as well. And again, your sponge would be good for this, but we'll use a paintbrush again. And we're just going to spread this across the top, just to cover in all of them gaps and get a good coverage of colour and glitter, because that's what we want. So we'll cover that over, give that a light dusting, and we'll remove that for the second. Now at this point, this piece of paper can be taken away again. And we're going to bring in one of our baking trays that I like to use for whenever I'm spritzing things, because it keeps the moisture all in one place. And we're just going to give this a little spritz. Now obviously, as you can see, you can leave this as it is. The pixie powders are attached, they're going to stay. So with pixie powders, you normally need to spritz it so that the water makes them bond to the card. But we don't need to worry about that because it's on a self-adhesive sheet. So on another one of our demos that I'm hoping you're going to watch, we'll actually be showing you how you could just leave it at this stage and carry on and just leave that. But with this one, I wanted to show you that if you do, turn your water gun on, that'll help. If we do go in and spritz it, the pixies will come to life because they're still there, they're still water reactive. So the minute we spritz, they're going to come to life and give you a really different effect. But when this dries, which is pretty cool, you get your pixies, which are going to give you that lovely mica finish. And you've got the glitter, because the glitter's stuck to the self-adhesive sheet. So that's in there as well. And we've got your stars, which have come obviously from your gilding flakes, which just gives you a really fun background. Now I took mine one step further and actually then embossed it, so you can see probably clearer on the back here. They'll put it into one of our A4 Illusions embossing folders. Again, we've got these in stock on the website, and it's just give it a bit of texture as well. There are loads of different embossing folders, even 3D folders you could pop this into if you wanted to give it more depth and impression and design as well, especially if it was one of our nice star ones, and you could have embossed stars in between the stenciled stars if that's something you wish to do. But it's just a fun way to make a background, brilliant way to bring in your Aurora flakes or your Cosmic Shimmer flakes or any other sort of details you wanted to. We could have also, of course, done these stars in solid glitter, maybe using something like the glitter bits instead. So lots and lots you can play about with and explore. We'll pop that to one side while we move on to our next piece. And we'll pop that over there as well. So obviously that one's a little bit brighter than the one I've got on the card, which is quite good because it's nice to show you different effects. And now we're going to have a little look at our frame here. Now I do have a board for this. I am prepared, I promise. I know that pixie powder one's around here somewhere, but for the life of me, I can't see where I put it. Anyway, this is the poinsettia adjustable frame that we're going to be using. So Sue brought out, I believe, 3 designs of these earlier in the year, but my memory is shocking, so please don't tell me if I've got it wrong. But basically with these, what we actually receive in our packet is 3 different sizes of frame part and 3 different backings to go with them. So if you want to, you can of course take this part and pop them on top of there. Or if you wish, you can leave the outside blade off of them and you can cut them into your cardstock. Or you can nest both of the dies together as such for each shape and cut them out as you see them like so. So really nice that you can put different colours behind them to back them. You can leave them open work, you can cut them into your card. Lots and lots of options. We know Sue is brilliant for that, isn't she? She always designs things. She's got a saying, and I can never remember it, but it's something like 2 + 2 should always equal 5. Basically meaning that if you add 2 things together, not only does it need to equal the 4, it needs to give you more. It's got to have more purpose to it than what you'd expect. So I think she always does that with her dies, and it works really well. So as you can see on the top here, we've just put them together for you in squares. But obviously, because you've got different size sides, if you wanted to, you could turn these into rectangles. I also really like them for corner elements as well. And I'm going to show you this on one of the larger ones. If you just take them and put them going across a corner, I think that works really well because it will fit perfectly from corner to corner. And then of course you could actually bring things and tuck them into them as well and treat them like photo corners. So really loads of ways you're going to use these as well as making your frames with them, if that's something you'd like to do. And all of the variations of them of course are on the website too, if that's something you like the look of. So we're going to pop our card out the way again, and we're going to bring in our different frame pieces. So for our one, we obviously need 4 bits, and we need a piece of blue card to go behind it. This is one of our lovely felt mark cards, which again is available on the website. And we're going to use some sticky specs for this. Now I know we've uploaded a video recently showing you how sticky specs works, but I love these, so we're going to talk about them just quickly. These come in A4 and A5. You get 8 sheets in the A5 and 4 sheets in the A4. And basically when we pull back the top layer here, this is a sheet filled full of tiny dots of glue, which are perfect for you to put your dies on top of. So we're just going to load them all on top here, covering them over like so. And oh yeah, that was close, weren't it? We're going to bring our little lid back and we're going to give that a little push down. And now all of them little glue dots are going to transfer onto the back of our frame for us. Now a little tip, when you come to take them off, these aren't too bad because they're not too open work or too delicate. But like here, you can see my flower petal, my poinsettia petal, is still attached to the sheet. I find if you go in and try and pull it against the plastic topper, you're less likely to damage them. So try that if you do get stuck. And then we're going to bring these and we're going to pop these directly onto just a piece of blue card. And I'll show you a tip in a moment for getting away any excess, because sometimes, like me, I'm quite hands-on. I've got a few of the dots on my fingertip, on my thumb, and I don't really want them transferring to my work. But sometimes it happens, it's inevitable. And if it does, we need to be able to show you how to get rid of them. So we're going to bring in our next size, and we're going to pop that one down there. We can then pick up this big one. We'll pop that coming down this side as well. And then we'll go in and find our small one. There we go. We'll bring that over. Now the nice bit with sticky specs, if we're not completely spot on with our frame, you can still lift these off. So if we decided that that weren't quite right, usually you can go in and you can lift off and you can move again and they will still adhere. Now, as I mentioned, if you do get a little area, I'm just going to try and find a pokey tool. I've got a big work box of tools I carry around with me, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger with more and more stuff in it, to the point that I've got about 85 pokey tools in there, but it makes it impossible to find any of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our sticky specs. So to remove any excess, so like here, hopefully Pete can zoom in on this and see, that's my thumbprint. That's where I've got the sticky specs on my thumb. So if you want to remove them, go back to your sticky specs, pick up a little ball of them on the tip of your pokey tool, and go in and literally just pull them off. And they will re-stick back to the ball on your pokey tool and remove them, so you don't have any damage at all. Sometimes you can just rub them away if there's just a couple of them, but if you find you've got a few of them and they're being a little bit more stubborn, I found this is a really good way to remove them. I've also found that if I've got any marks on my card, if I end up with like a little fingerprint or a little bit of ink somewhere or a little pen mark, somehow, and I don't know how it works because it's always above my head, but if you go in and you give them a little rub, it tends to remove them. So if you've got any little marks anywhere, do give it a go. I can't guarantee it'll work, but sometimes it's them little tips that can help, isn't it? So that's our sticky specs anyway, and so both sizes of those again are available on the website. Now, I don't want to hold you up to do this, but all you're going to do is just trim out the middle with a knife. I suppose we could do it with a pair of scissors actually. Let's be really reckless, shall we, and do it with a pair of scissors, because it's nice for you to see that you can do this and what it will look like. So obviously you can use these just as a frame. I think these would be really nice as inserts as well. So many times we stamp a verse or a sentiment on the inside of our card and it can just be a bit bland with nothing around it. I think these could be really good fun for that. And something else I didn't mention when we was talking about the actual dies themselves, if you don't want to add on top the delicate bits, so here's another one. Actually, this is one of the cards we're going to be demoing with a bit of luck, using some of our Gilded Flakes and our Pixie Powders again. But if you don't want to fill them in, around here somewhere, it's going to have to be down to Pete to zoom in on this one, I think. In the corner here, down there, Pete, we have a card and we've used the solid parts of the frame, but I've stamped over them. So although we're looking at these for Christmas cards, obviously, because that's what we're doing, there's nothing stopping you from stamping them plank bits with anything you wished, flowers or anything, and bringing them in with the same technique I'm showing you and using them all year round. So again, value for money wise, a good little buy. So we're just going to carry on and we're going to snip this bit off because it's quite nice to show you this actually. I wasn't, but I think we should. So once we have our frame on our card, you may notice that it's quite 3D. It comes up in the air a bit and gives you that sort of beveled in effect. That's really easy to do. Just take your frame and fold it against the corners and give it a good push down. You can use your bone folder on this if you wish to really put them corners in place. But just go against each one of them and give that a good push down. And from there, you will find your frame will give you a 3D effect. Now, obviously that's great, but we now need to be able to stick that to our card. And there isn't really much area around here to glue it to. You could do it with some silicone or something like that if you wish to, but there is an easier way, or I found it an easier way. If you take some card and just cut it into like 1 inch strips and then score it in half, so it's a 1/2 inch fold basically, it doesn't have to be, but that's what I've done. And then pop your glue against one side of it and bring these little bars in and pop them so that the score line goes into the middle of the aperture that you've created in your frame. And if you do this on all 4 sides to build up and give your frame some strength, it won't stop your frame from moving. It will still be able to flatten down for post and go 3D. But when we come to gluing this, you now have these areas to glue against. So they will stay level with your card and your frame will be able to stay as a 3-dimensional object. So you could make them bigger if you want more support on them. If you were going to fill in your frame, you could even tuck them in so that they go underneath your frame here or underneath where your picture's going to be, so you don't see them. It's just something to give you a bit of support and an area to glue, but still giving that a bit of movement so that you can keep it as a 3D element. So of course I have one of these I've already done. And I've added a bit of white card behind mine. And then in the middle, I've added one of Sue Wilson's angels. Now, she is really good at this. Every year, she brings out a different angel. So this is the 2019 angel. And the reason I'm showing you both is because you'll notice I've got the wings from the 2019 angel, but the body of the 2020 angel. Now, we have both available on the website at the moment, but really what's nice for you to know is how interchangeable they are, because the wings will fit on both of the different angels. You can also change different elements around with them as well, obviously. But if we look to this card here, this one's quite nice because I've double layered the wings on this one, and it's actually using the 2019 angel and the wings from the 2020 angel. And as we scan over the cards, hopefully people will do that again before I leave you in peace. Hopefully you'll see again on there quite a few of them you can do that effect with and really interchange them. So again, if you can get both angels, or if you've got one already, you might want to add the other one to it. Now, worth mentioning as well, just before I let you move away from this card, in the background here is a technique called Caught in Crystal, and we actually have that as a brand new bundle where you can buy the bits to do that technique, and a video showing you that and loads of other tips for you to actually create Caught in Crystal effects. And that's on our YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar with how to do Caught in Crystal, you might appreciate popping on there and having a little look at that and getting yourself up to speed, because it's such a lovely thing to do. So let's have a little look. Where were we? So I can see I've missed a bit already actually in my prepping of kicks. I haven't got my bit of Miri card under there, but it's okay. We can talk our way through it. So we're going to take our panel with our lovely stars. We're going to pop that on, and then we're going to take our angel and we're going to pop her on the front there to create that layer. Now, on the inside of our card, this is where some more fun elements come in. And I'm going to open this one up because, again, I'm going to go rogue and show you some different ideas or different colours. So this is beautiful. This is our snowflake corner element. When these come out, we could not get hold of them. Creative Expressions run out. A lot of you wanted these and couldn't get hold of them. They are now back in stock, and we've currently got these in already. And I think one of the reasons you really wanted them is not only do they make the most superb corner element, you can actually join them together. And again, I'm going to send Pete off on a mission here. If we have a little look at the card up here, you can see just by joining them together and gluing them, you can actually turn them quite easily into a square or a layer. So you can literally just glue them over the snowflake and put 4 together, and then that's the perfect area to pop a square, a circle, an oval, whatever you wish to, and turn that into a real nice decoration. And it makes cards like that one really, really simple to do. So for my one, all I was going to do is just glue the gold ones on to give you a different colour scheme. And then in the middle here, we have a bar, and these are quite fun actually. This is another new concept from Sue this year. She's come out with these dies. So we have a die with your big word. So in this sense, we've got the word peace. We then give you 2 little dies, or 1 die actually, I'm afraid, to stamp on top of, and then I've just cut the other one on a guillotine. And then you have these stamps that go on top of it, which are going to coordinate perfectly with your bold word. And again, there's a few of these different words and sets, so you might like to have a look at them, but I really like the peace one. So we're just going to pop that in the middle of our card as our sort of sentiment, our topper bit there. And then that is really how we can complete this and turn that into a card. The actual card, by the way, just to give you an idea, is on a 7x10 card blank, and I've just folded the front of it in half to complete that. But hopefully that will give you a bit of an idea on how you can create it. Now, if you've got any questions from this demo, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. My job is literally to answer them for you, so please don't be afraid to ask questions if you've got any. If you did like the look of any of the bits we've been rabbiting on about through this video and you'd like to get hold of them, as I mentioned earlier, they are all available on our website. Most of the bits have got some special offers on them too. So if you pop onto www.craftmaniacrafts.com and find the section, as I mentioned earlier, under As Seen on TV, the one you want is November-YouTube-last minute Christmas ideas, and all the bits should be in there for you. But if you get stuck and you can't find anything, once again, don't hesitate to ask. You can order online, or you can order by phone as well. Our phone lines are open from 9 AM to 7 PM. You can give us a call on 01493 843 666. Now, it doesn't matter if you order by phone or online. Our shipping and handling is really easy. If you spend over £5 in the UK, your P&P is completely free. If you wish to shop with us internationally, that's no problem. Your shipping is capped at £10, and if it's over £10, we will actually pay that for you. If it's less than £10, we actually refund it for you. In honesty, the average parcel going abroad tends to cost us around £24 and usually takes about 2 weeks to reach you. But as I say, your part of it is capped at just £10 because we like to try and keep it as inexpensive as we can for you. Now, lastly, before I let you go, you may have seen me talk about this on previous videos. Throughout November, we actually have an offer on the Craftmania website, whereby if you spend over £10, you receive a free die worth £8.99. Now, the designs are changing all of the time because, to be honest, several of you are collecting all of them, which is absolutely fine. It's limited to one die per household per design. So if you've already received one of the designs already, there's nothing stopping you from going on and ordering another £10 worth of goodies and qualifying for another design. I think at this moment we're on a flower and stamp set, but I know it's literally changing every day, so do go on and have a little look and collect as many as you want to. So just spend £10, no need for coupons, no need for comments. We will pop whatever design we are on at that moment in your basket for you, free of charge, and it will obviously be sent out to you. Thank you so much for watching this little video. Once again, any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Hope you catch up with more videos soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.